Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 40. This episode, we'll be talking about NFL and the fast approaching week five, as well as a little signing involving the Montreal Canadiens and some UFC talk with the UFC 38 that just happened and what's next for the fighters. But as always, this video is sponsored by Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the MLB and the NFL while you're watching your favorite teams and watch them make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit as a bonus when you use promo code Hot Sauce. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now. Every week we say quick, easy, make money while you're watching MLB, NFL, and watch them make you some money, just like the promo says. But before we get into that episode, Eric, as always, before we start, roll it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 40. Eric, kind of not really a milestone, but still an even number.
Yeah.
This episode, a little NFL talk, a little UFC talk, and a little hockey talk with some signing, one signing, not signings. But man, before we get into that, Eric, week 4 NFL just wrapped up. Bengals come out on top with a win versus Jacksonville. Steelers fall 1-3. Not looking good for the Steelers. Other good matchups around the league. Buffalo dominates in their win 40-0. But Eric, the big game of the week, of course, was the return of Tom Brady in New England Foxborough. Quickly, that was a fun game. Mac Jones, Tom Brady. Both quarterbacks were dialed in for that matchup. Mac Jones, 31 for 40, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brady, 22 for 43, 269 yards. And he also he passes Drew Brees for the all-time passing record in the NFL. It's like 80,000 or something like that. Some big number like that. But anyway, Bill Belichick versus Tom Brady. That game was fun. It ended 19-17, right? I think so, something like that. But then came down to a field goal. Nick Foles missed, but
just missed too.
That was definitely a fun one to watch. Bucks, they're a little shorthanded on the defensive side. They signed Richard Sherman. He started that game like 4 days. I think he was in camp, didn't get much time to get going. And unfortunately, Davis, one of their defensive players, also came out with a concussion at half. So that's a big loss for them. But Brady gets it done. Now he joins 3 other QBs, I believe. Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady along that list, and others that have beaten all 32 NFL teams in their career. Brady, as being with New England so long, not able to do that. Now with Tampa, he is. So, just had to mention that out. But now
Mac
we got
Jones.
Mac Jones
looks so good.
Mac Jones balled out too. He
for 40.
I remember a lot of people are saying this Brady versus Belichick scenario, but you got to think Mac Jones. Exactly. What is he thinking during that game, going up against the best quarterback of all time, Mac Jones, keeping it solid, keeping his team in it.
And he's been compared to him too, so it's like he had to perform, and basically he outplayed Tom Brady, but obviously he came up like just short of the loss. They almost had the win on that Nick Foles kick, but it literally just missed. Yeah, and also there was rain too, so can't blame him. It was a 56-yard.
Yeah, I saw that Brady was struggling a lot too with the rain. When Brady came out, he got cheers, but as soon as the game started, fans started to boo him because it's football and you don't boo players. You got to boo the players on the other team. So no exception for Tom Brady. Excuse me. But Eric, week 5 of the NFL, another week in the books, another week on the horizon. Good matchup of the week, in my opinion. America's game of the week, as they call it. Bills and Chiefs.
Yeah.
A good old AFC matchup. Bills are 2-1 as they – no, 3-1. 3-1 as they shut out who did they face last week?
Miami and Texans.
But it was Miami they played last week, right? But anyway, the one that just happened.
Oh, it was Texans. They just beat Texans 40-0.
40-0. And the Chiefs beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
I believe what was the score? I don't have the score.
What was that game? I remember it was a pretty good game. If I remember.
I don't know why I can't find score. Yeah, 42-30. It's a high-scoring game. Mahomes throws 5 touchdowns as the Chiefs beat the Eagles. Andy Reid's 100th win. But this week, the top 2 AFC top dogs pretty much, even though it doesn't seem like the Chiefs are a top dog. Consensus top dog. They're 2-2 this week. And they face off against the Bills, who are 3-1. This is going to be a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, whereas we know the Chiefs came out on top. Week 5, this is also an Arrowhead Stadium. Eric, Bills, Chiefs. There's questions going all around. Are the Bills the best team in the AFC, or do the Chiefs are they still holding on to that title?
No.
What do you think about that? That's
a very fair question, because if you look at Bills, like their defense coming into the season, they're about like mid-tier, like decent, but they just shut out 2 teams, which is like it's so hard to shut out a team in the NFL, because all you need is a field goal, right? So that just shows how good their defense is and how good their offense is as well. Obviously, Josh Allen playing basically MVP like as a lot of us expected. Josh Allen's playing very well. Stephon Diggs playing very well as well. So there's not really any weaknesses with this Buffalo team. Other you can say the running back, like David Singletary and I think Zach Moss. They're decent running backs, and they get the job done. So, like, and on the other hand, you have Kansas, who it seems like their defense isn't playing as well as it should be.
No,
like a lot of these games, like going almost like 25 plus 30. So, you gotta fix that. Obviously, we know Patrick Mahomes is playing as well as he could. Like he's always having good games, and he has the weapons. Like Clyde's starting to pick it up a bit, but obviously their defense has to pick up, because Josh Allen and that offense and for Buffalo is gonna be really good. So
for me personally, this is going to be a high-scoring affair. The over/under is 56.5. I would take it if I was betting money. Just like you said, the way the Chiefs' defense is playing right now, not the best. So there's room there for the Bills to rack up some scores. But in my opinion, listen, as you said, Bills' defense looking real good so far. Like you said, they already shut out 2 teams, Texans and the Dolphins. Josh Allen has admitted he hasn't been playing his best football of late, which is kind of crazy because, even if you put up 40 points or 35 points or something like that, but there was room to look at that point and see where he can improve and stuff like that. But for me personally, this is going to be at Arrowhead Stadium.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways to look at it. Bills are coming in to exact revenge, so they got something on their mind. Or is the crowd going to be too much for the Buffalo Bills like it was in the AFC Championship? Is this home stadium going to affect that game? But me personally, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win this one. Okay. It's going to be a close affair. Just though, in my opinion, the Kansas just has way too many high-powered weapons, and they're 2-2, and you might that might give them a bad look, but really it's kind of the defense that has been letting them down. They can still score, they could still put up a bunch of points, and playing Patrick Mahomes for any defense, that's a tough job to do. So Josh Allen's great, Stephon Diggs, they're great. Buffalo's becoming this 2-dimensional team, where last year they were kind of seen as this 1-dimensional team. They can only throw the ball. Now with Devil Singletary, Zach Moss, they've kind of shifted into that 2-dimensional team. They're running the ball a lot more, and the defensive line has completely changed. Or not completely changed, but last year it's different than this year. Just like the Chiefs' O-line is different this year than it was last year. But no, I think for Sean McDermott's defense, this is too much high power, just too much for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a good game. I think the Chiefs are going to take it. Don't know the score, but definitely take the over for this game. It's a good game. We've known this storyline has been going on for these 2 teams for a few years now. Josh Allen not being able to beat Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes only being his only obstacle in his way. He gets another chance to prove that week 5.
But it's kind of crazy because like there's no way Kansas is gonna go 2-3. Like
how crazy would a look at that be? That's a crazy look.
So I doubt Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the whole Kansas City team is gonna let that happen. But you never know. Like I feel like Josh Allen this year, like he's different. So if he's saying that he hasn't been playing that well, he hasn't shown his full potential, it's gonna be interesting to see. I still believe that Kansas is the better team, but this game, if I had to bet, I want to say Buffalo, but like I still think Kansas is the better team. But it's a
Josh Allen's gonna have to be perfect. He's gonna have to be perfect this game for him to come out with a win, especially playing away. That's pretty hard by itself in the NFL, but to do it against the Chiefs and that home crowd is something else. So there's that game to be looking for. I think that's going to be the best game of the week, in my opinion. But let's move on to another game coming up in week 5 where it's my Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase coming off a stressful win, I would say, off the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a game they were supposed to win. They started off real slow. It was also the ceremony for a couple of inductees for the Bengals. So, the defense was kind of slow to start. Trevor Lawrence looked really good to start. The Jacksonville defense looked really good to start, but they quickly turned it around. Cincinnati were able to get going, and they came out the win. But now they got to face a hot team in Aaron Rodgers. So especially now with missing Joe Mixon, there wasn't really any backup plan in Cincinnati this year. Joe Mixon was kind of going to have the ball every single rep. So now their running game, there's kind of, question marks going into next week because Cincinnati is still a team that relies heavily on their run, relies heavily on Joe Mixon when it's 1st and 10, whatever, 2nd and 10, they get 6 or 5 yards. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. Now you're going to actually have to throw the ball a lot more than you had to do last game. And this was the question about the Cincinnati offense and the playbook and Zach Taylor. What is this team able to use the weapons that they have, call the right plays against defenses, and put up, get to their potential and put up points? Or are they going to be scared, keep Joe Burrow safe so, he stays below in the pocket, doesn't have to step up or anything like that? I don't know, because the Packers defense is going to be much better than the Jaguars defense that kind of had that you were struggling with last week. So now you're going to have to play a better defense. And with the O-line, as we know, Cincinnati, it got better with the Steelers and stuff like that. Jacksonville struggled a little with the pass rush, but they're going to have to do a better job, even better job now against a good pass rush Packers defense. So look for that. I don't know. I am a Cincinnati Bengals fan. I could see them winning this game. Nothing wrong with that. I like the defense, the way the defense has been playing right now. It's been the bright spot. They could stop the Green Bay Packers. I know they can. Devontae Adams. But it's just a question of, can the offense get going against the defense, the Bengals offense? So I think I don't want to say they're going to lose there because I don't say that about teams I cheer for, but this is going to be the Bengals' toughest matchup of the season by far. And it would definitely be an upset win if they come out on top. I feel like I'd be saying that a lot of weeks for the Bengals upset win.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The next time the Bengals and Steelers face, is it going to be a Steelers upset win, or or the Bengals going to lose and get upset by the Steelers? Because Eric, they're 1-3 now.
Yeah.
They just lost against the Packers as well.
Yeah.
So, Steelers are kind of struggling. Who do they play in week 5? Steelers. You guys play. Oh God, I don't know. I can't see right now.
We're playing the Broncos, so hopefully we can.
Oh, the Broncos. So Broncos are, they're a pretty good team. Well, what do you think about that?
Like Broncos defense actually been playing really well, so I really I didn't give up on this team yet, but it's tough to watch the games. Last game we're up. No, it was a really close game, and then Green Bay just took over, and it's tough when like Big Ben's playing good, but it's just like it's Deontay Johnson. Like,
Yeah.
I thought we had one of the best receiving team. Like, like Juju's not doing much. Like Chase Claypool not having the best. Like, it's just tough. Like coming into the season, I was like I had high hopes. Last year we went 11-0, and this year, obviously we know like the defense really isn't the same anymore. But I really expected more from
Neither
this
is the
team.
offense.
Yeah.
Neither is the offense for this team.
I'm happy for your Bengals, and they're looking good. And
you shouldn't be happy because we play in the same division.
I know, but no,
that's a tough division already, and teams are racking up wins, and Steelers are just dropping back 1-3. Face the Broncos. Broncos would be listen. I don't even know who the favorite in that game is.
Yeah,
because Steelers right now, like they're not playing terribly. They're not playing amazing. They're playing under their potential for sure. I just think this is Big Ben's last year. I'll keep saying it, but I don't see how that offense could get going another year under Big Ben. They need a mobile quarterback to get that offense going. But let's go to the UFC. Eric, UFC 266 happened. We know that Volkanovski, Ortega, but there's always UFC Vegas every week. So UFC Vegas 38 was it? Yeah, I think 38 was Thiago Santos versus Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
was the main card, but there were some other cards like Kevin Holland that you liked. That was a no contest with a headbutt. So Thiago Santos wins versus Johnny Walker. What did you like about those fights?
So yeah, so that first the main event, I was watching it. I didn't watch the whole fight, because I'm not gonna lie, I was streaming it. It was a little laggy,
yeah.
So I just ended up watching the highlights. It was a good fight. There wasn't much that happened. They literally, I think Thiago Santos threw like 40 punches. Like he landed for which isn't a lot for a 5-round fight. It was a lot of, because coming into this fight, most of their wins for Thiago Santos and Johnny Walker, like I think 95% of their wins were like a finish, right? So everyone's expecting a finish, a big main event, but really didn't do anything. They're just like kind of dancing around, like a lot of shadow boxing. So it's tough for a main event, but like if that's how you have to win, you have to be smart. Because the thing with Johnny Walker was he fights kind of like Paddy the Baddy Pimlet. So it's like he just has his chin up and he throws punches, right? So that's what happened with Johnny Walker's last win over Ryan Spann. So what happened was Johnny Walker was wailing, he got rocked, got back up, almost lost a fight, and then finished Ryan Spann. So that describes Johnny Walker. Like he's just like a super athletic, 6'5" light heavyweight, like super strong, but obviously he's not the brightest. Well, he's probably smart, but like I'm just saying, like having your chin, like he's not the smartest fighter, but in this fight he showed that he could fight smart. Obviously, it's not as fun for the fans, but he didn't win. But it just shows that he can be patient and have composure and read his opponent. And on the other hand, Thiago Santos, I was expecting like a brawl here, but Thiago Santos, he just wanted to get the win. I believe before this, he was on a 2-3 fight win.
He was on a losing streak, lost to Teixeira and Rakic. Alexander Rakic.
Yeah, and Rakic. And I think before that, lost to John Jones.
No, before that, lost to before Teixeira.
Yeah, before Teixeira lost to John Jones. So those 3 fighters that he lost in a row are obviously really good fighters, right? So there's no, like, you lose to John Jones, okay. Like, obviously, we know John Jones. And then Glover Teixeira, which was a pretty recent fight, he lost. He was the favorite in that fight. He lost, whatever. And the Rakic is also a good fighter. He lost. So it's kind of brutal. But before that, right before John Jones, he actually beat Jan Blachowicz. That's when Jan wasn't as big as a name, but still beat Jan. So it just shows that Thiago Santos still top 3 in that division. I'd put him right under like Rakic. So it'd probably go right now. Like
right now he's 7th.
He's 7th. Okay.
They ranked him. So Thiago Santos is 7th. Smith bumped up with his win over Ryan Spann at UFC Vegas. He's 6th. Rakic is 5th. Yeah. Dominic Reyes is still 4th. Glover Teixeira is 3, and then Yuri, and then Jan.
Oh my God. Okay. I forgot about those fights. But yeah,
So Dominic Reyes is like on a 3-fight losing streak right now.
Yeah,
After
but
that,
obviously
John Jones.
he also lost to some good fighters, right? So
Well, yeah, some very good fighters.
so like you can't. So that's why the light heavyweight is an underrated division. People like obviously there's not big names, but if you look at the fighters, like it's a very competitive division, and everyone has always fought each other.
It is.
And people lose and win against each other. So like if you look at it, like Yuri obviously beat Dominic Reyes, like very dominant fighter. People have him for the title next. Obviously, you have Glover Teixeira fighting in a couple weeks against Yan. That's gonna be a really good fight. Probably Glover's last fight, even if he wins or loses, probably his last fight. And then after you even Dominic Reyes, as we talked about, really good fighter.
Rakic is fifth right after that.
Yeah, and then Rakic, obviously, like he beat Anthony Smith. So we're gonna have that rematch probably, I think, in December, as you said, Christmas, right?
Yeah. So let me put this right. If Anthony Smith's fighting Rakic by December, after that call out, Dominic Reyes right now, haven't heard any news about him. He's still on a 3-fight losing streak, just lost to Yuri. Glover, as we know, is fighting in a few weeks. Yuri right now is waiting for his title chance.
Yeah.
So Thiago Santos comes off a win.
Mm-hmm.
What's next for him right now? He's kind of in an idle position. He's kind of got to wait for some fights to happen.
Exactly.
What's he looking for?
So exactly for him, like having a win over Johnny Walker. Obviously, Johnny Walker is not the highest ranked, but it's a win, right? So that's what Anthony Smith did too. So obviously, Rakic and Anthony Smith are going to fight. So he's probably going to. I'd say he should wait for the winner of maybe Anthony Smith versus Rakic, or even like fight Dominic Reyes. Because if he fights Dominic Reyes and beats Dominic Reyes, he'll be back at the top as he was before. Because before, I think before he lost to Rakic and Glover Teixeira, he was like second. He was about to, like, if he beat Teixeira, he was gonna fight for the title. So obviously that one loss dropped him, and then Rakic dropped him even further. So obviously it's tough for him, but he's a very good fighter. And Johnny Walker as well, I believe he's gonna have a chance to bounce back. He showed composure in this fight. Obviously he's not as, because Thiago Santos is still like one of the best light heavyweights. So I'm excited to see what Johnny Walker and Thiago Santos do next.
Yeah, for sure. Just also in that fight night, there was also a middleweight fight that you like, was the Kevin Holland fight versus Kyle Dawkins. That finished in a no contest by an accidental headbutt. So what'd you like about the fight? What can we expect next from Kevin Holland? There's not much you could say right now about a fight that got no contest. Yeah, clearly, but you wanted to talk about him.
Exactly, because I've always liked Kevin Holland. In 2020, he actually won 25. He won 5 fights in 2020. So he fought 5 times.
Fought 5 times in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. And he won all 5 of them. And I think that was probably in a span of like 7-8 months. So he was beating some good fighters too. What's his name? He beat he had a good, like, and they're most of them were like knockout wins too. He beat, what's his name? I think Buckley. You know, the guy that does, like, he caught the leg and then spun and.
Oh yeah.
So Kevin Holland knocked out that guy, which was a good win. Like, just like before the year started, he was 10th.
Yeah, Joaquin Buckley.
Yeah, Joaquin Buckley. So before, like, starting in 2021, Kevin Holland was 10th. He was up there, and his only thing was he's not a good wrestler. And then he Paulo Costa drops out of the Marvin Vettori fight. So, or one of those fights, and then what do you have? No, it was Marvin Vettori versus Darren Till, and then Kevin Holland. Obviously Darren Till dropped out, so Kevin Holland jumped in, and he got fucked up by Marvin Vettori, obviously because of the wrestling. Marvin Vettori was just wrestling. He's a big guy, so Kevin Holland had no chance. Whatever he loses. Brunson. Yeah, even I think Derek Brunson was before that. So Derek Brunson, he fights Derek Brunson before that. He actually, the whole fight he's just talking, and obviously he actually took down Derek Brunson, which the first time that Derek Brunson's ever been taken down by Kevin Holland, which is crazy. But Kevin Holland, great character for the UFC. He's actually a big name. He's actually a very popular fighter. If he starts racking up wins, he'll be a big, because a lot of UFC fans love this guy just because he talks, the way he fights. It's super entertaining. He's always like, because he's a striker, right?
Yeah.
And all he had to do is practice his takedown defense and like just his wrestling and jiu-jitsu overall. Obviously, we know he went to go train with DC and like he practices wrestling like, really hard. So coming into this fight, he fought an unranked guy, so not in top 15. So I was like, okay, it should be an easy win for Kevin Holland. Obviously, goes in there, good striking, gets a headbutt into the jaw, gets knocked out, wakes up right away. But obviously, he just got knocked out, right? So he's in a bad spot. They shuffle around, and then he gets put in a guillotine and he taps out. But the ref, Dan Mergliano.
Mergliano.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, he looks at the review. Him and Herb Dean look at it. They say, okay, he got knocked out. Like it wouldn't be like it's not illegal, but it's an accidental headbutt. Obviously, it's none of the fighter's fault.
So
and
no
you have to call it no contest because someone just got like illegal, like it's an illegal move, like not illegal, but it's not a legal move. The fight should have been paused at least. But you can't continue to fight because someone just got submitted, so you just call it no contest, right?
So what's next for Kevin Holland? Listen, you're talking about not being able to wrestle. Why don't we just throw two guys who can't wrestle into the ring, Darren Till and Kevin Holland, and just let them go at it?
That'd be such a good fight. The trash talking in that fight would be amazing. I believe that's actually a really good fight to make because right now I think Kevin Holland's he was 14.
He's 13th. He's 13. Darren Till's 9th.
So yeah, but Kevin Holland's been getting these fights over. Obviously, he's not on the level of because Marvin Vettori and Derek Brunson, they're like 200, like 5. They're big boys and they can wrestle. So hey, Kevin Holland, he can try and be kind of like a Israel type of fighter. So because Kevin Holland came into the fight 183.5. So he didn't even have to cut. Like he just walks around that weight. So he's really light for his the division. So he has, if you're that light for the division, you gotta be able to like wrestle somehow because these big cats, like they're gonna come in like 200 something, 210, 215. They're gonna take you down super easily if you're coming into the fight at like 183, you know? So I'm hoping Darren Till would be a really good fight for him. But there's a lot of good matchup in the middleweight division. And even at the top, there's a bunch of matchups happening. I think is it Derek Brunson fighting Jared Cannon? I think
Derek Brunson, Jared Cannonier.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Are gonna fight. As we know,
Robert
Adesanya and Whitaker are going to fight as well. Their rematch for the belt. Paul Acosta, I don't know.
And Marvin Vettori.
Marvin Vettori,
they're gonna fight. That's gonna be a really.
So everyone in the top 6 is booked for a fight. So that leaves guys like outside that group of fighters: Jack Hermanson, Sean Strickland.
So Sean Strickland's gonna fight Luke Rockhold at UFC. Really, I think it's UFC 268. So they're fighting soon. So Sean Strickland's taking Hermanson.
Jack Hermanson.
He's a really good fighter. So he could definitely be up there, and him and Kevin Holland would be. I feel like Hermanson.
Kelvin Gastelum, of course.
Kelvin Gastelum.
10. Uriah Hall. And then Brendan Allen, he could fight as well.
So yeah, Uriah Hall and Kevin Holland would be a good fight because they're both strikers.
Yep.
They're both they have a small frame for their for 185. So that would be a very interesting fight. And if Kevin Holland gets that win, because I think they want to get a rematch for the fight that just happened, just because it was a no contest, right? And I forgot what the opponent's name was, but he had a really good fight and he deserves the rematch because he basically almost beat Kevin Holland. So.
Yeah, Kyle Dock is who you're referring to. I don't know. That'd be rare for a non-ranked to get a rematch there with Kevin.
Well, he basically won the fight, so it's pretty fair to him that he gets the rematch. You know,
it's for sure. I don't know why you would take that. But why are people? Is it because people who are ranked like 14, 15, 13, they grab non-ranked guys to propel them into the top 10? I don't get that. What's the point of taking that fight?
Like kind of because that's kind of how it works because
I know that's how it works. You take the guys who are ranked the 15, 14, 13 guys who are just outside or inside.
But it also forces fighters at the top to be like, yo, start fighting because like if you look at the rankings like obviously it's the UFC that runs it, so Dana's like, yo, put him like if someone doesn't want to fight, he'll be like, okay, well the guy under you is gonna fight, and if he keeps winning, like you're gonna get bumped down. So
Yeah, well, that should be interesting. As the middleweight division, not a slow division by any means, not anywhere near. We would rank it with the light heavyweight, who's probably. Would we both agree that the light heavyweight's the slowest right now?
Yeah, pretty slow. Well, I think it's just slow
I mean,
because,
we got this title fight in a few weeks, but
but like
I don't know
the name of the fighters also aren't like the biggest
exactly.
names, right? So even Glover, Teixeira, and Yan
Yeah,
is not really gonna sell that much, you know.
no.
So
So middleweight, that's going to be interesting. Israel is going to be fighting Robert Whitaker. I forget which UFC it is. Is it one in January? I forget.
well, it's in a while.
It's going to be in a few months, so we don't have to worry about that for the UFC. But we'll be back with more UFC later on in the month. Obviously, UFC 267. We'll have to talk about with Yan and Glover as the main card. But before that, let's stick with the NHL. Eric, as we know, the NHL preseason is making its way. Teams have already played. The season starts in well over 2 weeks, I would say, somewhere like that, just a week and a few days.
Yeah.
And the Montreal Canadiens, they make a signing of one of their own, Jake Evans, their young center, 25 years old, signs for 3 years, 1.7 million AAV. Jake Evans, for those who don't know, a little background, draft in the 7th round, 2007, 2014. Like I said, he's 25. He centers right now. He's planning on centering the third line. So I really like this deal, Eric. It's a quick, easy deal. But Jake Evans, if you look at his offensive stats, you might be, whoa, not whoa, because it's a $1.7 million deal. But Jake Evans, the way I'm talking up, he's no offensive threat. Like he's gonna like age up to be this point getter. But right now he's turning into a really, really solid two-way player, 200-foot center, as we saw in the playoffs last year, and he's gonna be an everyday player. He's reached that not that skill set, but he's impressed the coaches that much last season, the playoffs, last season in general, and now he's solidified a spot. Aaron, this is a great story because Jake Evans, as you know, 7th round pick. You know, how many 7th rounders are able to, you know, at such a young age like that, make it away and then crack a spot playing on the third line of the Montreal Canadiens like that? You know, that's a guy you could say who's never given up. He, you know, even when you go into Laval and stuff like that, he worked his way up there with his coaches, did a lot of good stuff, was called up by the Canadiens when they needed players. And he's stuck around now and he's growing into this really good 200-foot player. So really good signing by the Montreal Canadiens, really fair deal, 1.7 mil. So expect Jake Evans now to take another step in his game as he's going to be centering the third line alongside right now Pendon. We don't know yet with the line pairings going on in preseason. We see Josh Anderson playing with Christian Dvorak and Jonathan Drouin. Drouin, as we know, is coming back to play this season. He's looking to have a bounce back year. So that's going to be one line, it looks like, as they're trying to build chemistry. So that means that Brendan Gallagher, is probably penciled in, Eric, as the third line right winger right now.
Ooh.
Depending on how they, you know, label their lines.
Yeah.
The consensus number one line is Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Tyler Toffoli. Second line is Christian Dvorak, Josh Anderson, and Jonathan Drouin. And then the third line would be Jake Evans, Brendan Gallagher, and Yoel Armia. So, yeah, I like Jake Evans as our third line center, you know, and to have him for 3 more years on a $1.7 million deal. It's a win-win for the Canadiens and for Jake Evans. And, yeah, so I'm excited to see the improvement in his game. Because, like I said, he's a serious player right now and could be our third line center for the next foreseeable long-term future or whatever. So if he keeps continuing and getting better. So, yeah. But as always, this has been another episode of the Chtib Zhang show. A bit of a shorter episode, but next week is going to be packed, as next week we'll be talking NHL. As the season will be going underway very soon. By the time that video comes out, we'll be giving our predictions for standings in the divisions. No more North Division, all Canadian teams. We're back to our normal NHL division alignment. So expect that. And then we have a fantasy draft tonight, Eric, our big fantasy draft that we did talk about during not last year, but during that season.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the same league, 16-player league, very intense, a lot of money on the line. So expect to talk about our teams that are going to be drafted tonight very soon. So, yeah, thanks so much for listening on Spotify or watching us on YouTube. Yeah, like we said, NHL, NBA after that, then UFC 267 recap. So stay tuned for those 3 weeks. Should be a good one. And as always, thank you for listening to the Chtib Zhang Show. Much appreciated. We'll see you in the next episode. Roll the outro.